Choppers, better took those risks. Cold blood in my fists, we fire starters. One out of a million will reach those heights. Always got a feeling that I won't deny. Not work, never could toss. Look in my eyes, I'm on the rocks. Rise. A couple milli now, I'm causing a commotion. I've been coasting, hear my name around the world like an explosion.
So rise up, rise up. We are the apocalypse, and a pill that keeps us floating. As we fly above the stars, the night won't scare us falling. So rise up. I'm too great to be landed. Rise up. Way too great to be standing.
They never gonna stop us. Fly by them like choppers. Better took those risks. Cold blood in my fists, we fire starters. Let's go. One out of a million will reach those heights. Always got a feeling that I won't deny. Not work, never could toss. Look in my eyes, I'm on the rocks. Rise.
Hello and welcome everybody to Quack and Smite League Season 3. We have another wonderful game lined up for you, just like last night, except this time it's Mini League. We got the Lil Noms up against the Chosen Guans. I am joined here by my fellow co-hosts, Raptor and Neptune.
This is a pretty fucking good hot dog.
Alright, well that's your intro from Neptune. Apparently I'm gonna be your main host, Jerry Lamb, since Scarab is or Neptune is too busy with his hot dog, as we're going right into picks and bans. Lil Noms are banning Set. Chosen Guans will respond with Tiamat. Phenoms or Lil Noms respond with banning Sobek. Chosen Guans answered back by banning Gilgamesh. And we actually see a Chiron ban third by the Lil Noms. Going in quite fast and quite hard. A lot of fantastic picks. All of them are very, very strong gods in this current meta, especially Set and Chiron, seeing a lot of play. Gilgamesh and Tiamat have been strong pretty much since release. No question about that. Sobek is also a phenomenal pick with a lot of capability to shut down. And Soul will end up being the third of the top three bans. Soul is also a very popular ADC pick right now. And actually, if any of you were watching the game last night,
None will flee my grasp.
Soul was actually doing incredibly well, especially against the Chiron, as we will see Persephone locked in first. Persephone has been reworked recently, and her kit is
Wisdom shall be
humble
my
opinion, very
shield.
bloated. But Athena will end
I'm
up
a
getting locked in for the
monster!
Guans with a Scylla locked in as well. Very, 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 very powerful mid fight right there. Athena and Scylla have insane pressure to burst you out. And the Little Noms will actually answer with a Loki lock in. Loki is another god that has been seeing a little bit of popularity recently and is now actually unbanned for league play here in Quack and Smite League. So it is entirely possible that Loki could be one of those game-changing gods that nobody's seen in quite some time. A lot of people have forgotten just what Loki can do. And speaking of what people can do, we have Kukulin locked in. He's been pretty much the top solo laner for practically all of season 8 so far. He just has the pressure, he has the damage, the power output that he has is just insane. It's tough for other solo laners to match. Even Bluestone Arthur has a little bit of trouble matching up against that.
We should probably mention why it's 1-0 right now. It is because unfortunately the Phenoms could not get all 5 players, or the Low Noms, I'm sorry, could not get all 5 players on time. And the rule is if you don't have all 5 players 15 minutes before, or 15 minutes after start time,
Warriors, to
then
battle!
You do lose game 1, and then 20 minutes is game 2. So they did have to the Lil Noms did have to forfeit game 1, but we will be seeing a set still.
And at least we're still going to get something out of it, as Honor will end up being the third pick for the Chosen Guan. So Athena, Scylla, and Honor are all very, very strong gods right now. And they'll actually ban out the Apollo ADC. Very interesting, another strong ADC, as King Arthur will be banned by the Lil Noms in response to trying to take out some of those high damage, high pressure solo laners that can compete with Kukulin. Since with the amount of damage that he's able to push out, and frequently too, Arthur is one of very few solo laners right now that can actually match the amount of damage that Kukulin can just dish out, especially when he transforms with his passive. The amount of damage that he can do, especially having a root and a push with a stun on it, very, very high damage output. And Heimdall will actually be the fifth and final ban from the Chosen Guans. Most likely trying to counter or get rid of the counter to on her, since Heimdall does have that knockup immunity. As Tsukiyomi is the fifth and final ban for the Lil Noms. I see Ymir being hovered. Ymir is actually fantastic going in with the on her. That's a lot of pressure in the team fight stage. He's been very popular lately, and he certainly has more than enough ability to output.
Love how he just slides right over the Athena. You know.
Well, I talked about the Athena earlier, and are you finally done with your hot dog?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Was it good?
Oh yeah, it was real good.
All right, chat. You heard it here first. Neptune enjoys wieners.
Yeah, it was a good hot dog. And then Fafnir.
Fafnir
I've
and
got
Hoagie,
my eye on you.
and both are locked in actually. That's actually this is still a pretty solid duo lane as well. Especially having a Loki. Fafnir is a pretty solid pickup, I think. Especially with that disarm that really does hurt in the early game stages. And you see Ratatosker actually being our 5th and final pick on the chosen Guans. Rat is definitely a versatile god that can do a lot of different things in multiple different ways and can certainly engage very, very well, especially having his dash and his global ult. No, nothing to add, Nep?
No. I'm more just thinking about where that Ymir might be actually going solo rat jungle, or it's going to be a Ymir jungle rat solo.
I don't expect to see a Ymir jungle coming out. If I remember correctly, Slick does actually do a little bit of Ymir solo.
Amish is a support main though, so we could be looking up to pull out a little bit tankier jungle.
It's also possible. Then again, there is also the notion to consider that Athena is so powerful she can flex out any of the 3. Support, solo, and jungle are all still possible for her.
Jokes on you, it's Athena mid and Scylla solo.
Still a support. Full
Love
defense, and she still takes away half your health with a single ability.
Yep. I mean, the High-Res really just messed it over by adding damage to a taunt. And if you're gonna give damage to a taunt, you may as well give damage to his fear. I'm just saying, High-Res.
Oh, would actually give decent versatility to his kit, rather than just 3 healing go burr. But
Oh. And we can't see the game because Raptor hasn't switched screens for us.
just push it to the top on OBS and make
No, I'm talking
the
about in
taller.
Discord, you gooba. Thanks, Raptor.
Actually, first thing.
Good. That's
Okay.
what I do anyway. I'm doing camera
But-
work, I just mute on stream.
I do think it's interesting that Kikolan opted for the Warriors axe here.
He might be. And, wow. I predicted rat solo.
And it is actually Athena jungle. And I figured Ymir would actually be really good support for that on her. And there it is.
Yeah, he can toss the ball up and you can't move out of the lane. So,
Then on her can just push you into the wall, so you're even further trapped.
I do like the Scylla here. It does allow her a little bit of escape out of that Persephone kit. Especially when you're about to start playing Frogger in lane with the Persephone flowers. And if anyone doesn't understand that reference, from one side of the lane to the other side of the lane. I'm explaining it in chat, you Goomba. Goomba. Oh,
Oh, we
and
got a lot of damage on her here.
oh, and that's gonna be first blood on for dual peg leg to Van Herk on the on her. A little.
Very interesting, but that was a lot of burst damage that came out onto that on her. Pavs and Pegleg just bursted, especially with that Fafnir hammer. And being able to keep him long enough that Rube can get the additional stun to even further how much damage they're pushing out. That was a huge burst. I think it's also gonna have a massive impact because Pegleg is also more than good enough of a player to press that early advantage. more than knowledgeable enough to take advantage of that situation.
Ooh, there's the rat stun. And the interesting thing about rat solo is he can go multiple different ways in his path, depending on which way he wants to put that acorn. It kind of looks like, you know, pretty even in solo lane. You got a little bit of pressure going back and forth. He can upgrade that under tower, so he's not really going to lose a lot of lane pressure, unlike Capella, who has to back to get his boots.
True, but as long as Kukulin stays on par and level and doesn't get super far behind, he's still going to be able to match pressure quite well. It is still Kukulin.
Yeah, it is Kukulin, but yeah, Kukulin will be very meta for a foreseeable future. And JVP, she is banned in the SPL until after playoffs are finished, but because we're not the SPL and we're not in playoffs, she's unbanned. A nice wall there, stopping a lot of the chase happening onto that Ymir. Yes, they lost their purple buff, but they did not die for it.
This is true. This is very true. Purple buff is not quite as valuable as your life.
That is true. You know, we do take those. If you died trying to get your purple buff, was it really worth?
Very, very true. And I do also like the Athena jungle as well, because that gives even more setup for that Syl in the mid with Conduit Gem. Just the ability to just burst somebody out and continue rotating.
Yeah, and it does look like Fafnir went Sundering Spear.
I don't think that's quite as noteworthy, because I see a lot of people picking up Sundering Spear lately, and to be fair, Sundering Spear is a great relic, and even before they're buffing it in the next patch here, I still think it's a fantastic relic, and it's a lot of fun to use as well.
Yeah, there is a start. Rat going into his ult there.
Unfortunately, they
call it alt out as well, though. So alt for alt there.
true, but it did also cost the Athena ult as well, which unfortunately was timed a little bit early. Rat didn't have the time to quite dive in and get the damage off of that rotation.
Yeah.
Definitely going to be an unfortunate timing mishap, and I think if the Lil Noms play correctly, they can absolutely make something out of it. They can absolutely pressure that and take even more of an advantage out of that global rotational being down.
Yep. What is interesting though is it looks like that is a blue buff invade from that Kukulin, but Athena is there to kind of secure it, but doesn't secure it. And did Persephone rotate from mid to maybe try to spice things up there?
That could have been a very dangerous rotation, because a single pick there would put Ret even further behind. Kukulin is right now about a level ahead of Ret, and if Kukulin gets ahead, you are in a very bad spot playing up against him. Especially when he has Warrior's Axe and Reinforced Greaves, his late game is going to be even stronger than the Bluestone.
But on the other side of the spectrum, we do have, I believe that is the rot shredding acorn that he has, the white one. Out comes Kukulin alt there. Yeah. I think it benefits his dash, and up he goes, and because Kukulin doesn't have Bluestone, Rat should be able to live here.
That's a very good blink in from Kukulin though.
That is.
Beautiful blink.
Barely gets out with a sliver.
Just a sliver of health as we have a 3v2 turned into 3v3 turned into 3v2 in mid, and then Amish will end up getting picked up as well. Athena will fall, and now it's just Kush with no mana and very, very little health against 3 opponents.
Trading a kill there, and Habs is gonna die to the tower.
Habs.
It is worth still for Habs in that kill because he didn't die to Kush, so he didn't give Kush a kill.
He didn't give any of them the XP too.
Yep. Kush may have gotten the assist from the tower,
But especially with the benevolence, it's not a whole lot of XP going out of that.
Nope. You see them both going tank, magic shoes.
Going into Emerald Mail as well.
It's probably going to be built into a Thieves.
Very, very similar build so far. The only difference between the two supports is Blink on the Ymir and Sunder on the Fafnir.
And there's the acorns. Yeah.
Yep. So his spin to win now shreds and gives him more prots, and it gets an extra charge. So it's definitely going to be looking a little bit more towards the late game to try and help survive in those team fights and rotations and set up for the team.
He had to burn the ult, but he did live there from the gank from the Athena. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Great awareness though to be able to pull off that ult to allow him to escape.
A little too early on the taunt there, and Catgirl Chipotle gonna be picked up in the mid lane there, as we do see a rotation from Loki. A good beat, but not enough to live. And a nice on her lead there as he gets away from that ult.
Perfect timing too, just a second later and he would have been caught.
Yeah. And yeah, if you get caught by that ult, you're kinda, her ult is very much based around team fight disruption, you know, stopping a lot of those leaps, jumps, and escape.
In general, it just stops you from playing the game.
It is very good. It's a lot of damage too for something of that nature.
That can also hit you if it just hits a wall.
Yep. Or can also hit you when she snipes you halfway across the lane.
This is also true because it does not stop. It just keeps on rolling. But on her, we see a blink in from
nice
Guan.
Rat dash though, taking 0 damage from that ult. We do see Persephone diving back under tower here, but Loki's kind of around.
Unfortunately for Loki, Amish does have block stacks.
It is a thing, so you're going to get a lot of... And look at that spin to win damage.
A lot of spin to win damage.
But out comes the rotation by this Loki here. Amish tried looking for something, dodges the ricochet beautifully. And could be in a spot of bother, but you know, they decide not to chase and instead go looking at the purple buff. Let's 3-way split a purple buff at 10 minutes in the game.
Because why
no
wouldn't
one
it?
needs XP. You see the... It kind of looks like there's a rotation coming out from Kush there. Athena ult coming out, dashing in there, pulling him in, and getting the kill. And ooh, Persephone ult a little bit off the mark there.
Especially with Kukulkan not having ult up there or beads or anything to get him out of that situation. That awareness from them to dive that and just load him up with the CC gave them more than enough time.
Noms confirming that gold for you there, but a lot of damage coming out on Pab Scylla, kind of just showing you that she doesn't need a lot of items to get online. It's more her passive. And oh, Loki could be in a spot of bother here, and he is picked up by Amish there as he is taunted back into her kit. And Amish is kind of looking for another kill here. Kind of zoned out by that Fafnir hammer though as he evaluates his life decision. But
He
Kush
said
is on the roll here, kind of maybe looking to blink under this tower.
And he's going around the back too. Big Leg is going to be ulting from back in the tower, but he's going to have to be careful as Kush is pushing up and gets a double stun.
And out comes the Ymir ult. And Kush is not gonna live, but the Order Tower picks up the kill, meaning Pabs could not hit him at all. Out comes a Persephone. And ooh, she's not gonna be able to really do much here, as on her kinda looks scot-free here, using the Impale to try to get away.
Purple buff.
Almost getting the kill there.
60 HP. Whew.
You know, it's better than 1 HP in a dream.
Well, I mean, he lived, so it's better than 0.
Out comes Loki ult, Rat feeding there. Out comes Athena ult, Rat spinning to win here. Cucullin trying to pick up the kill.
That was
Loki.
beautiful awareness from the Loki, just waiting for the dash to go back to the T2 tower.
It was, and it kind of looks like Persephone is waiting for those harpies to come back up. Amish trying to save his solo laner's life and almost picking up a kill in the process, but not quite enough damage. Scylla able to just basically full clear lane at this point. You know, when you don't want to keep rebuying wards, you just spend the money on a warding chalice, okay?
I see nothing wrong with it. It's warding chalice. You get free wards.
Free wards every time you back, and you just place them in fountain to make it look like you've placed 40 wards in the game. I mean, I would never do that.
Shh. You'll expose me. Shut up.
Don't question how I have 40 wards this game. Pegleg kind of looking to do some damage here. Out comes the on her ult. Getting a lot of damage off, but there's a Loki coming to play peekaboo with you. And he does get the kill onto Van Herk there. Loki is a minor annoying nuisance.
I don't know if I would call him minor, being 4-1 right now, level 13, about 13, almost 14 minutes in. He's still putting in quite a bit of work, as now Lil Noms actually have an almost 6k gold lead and an almost 7k XP lead.
Dummy Slick almost getting the kill onto this Cucullin, who is 4 levels up on him now, but Mystical Mail, Talisman of Energy, and he is going, that looks like it is going to be the shield.
Iron Knight is probably what he's going into, but you're right, it very well could be Pride One. But I want it to be Iron Knight.
Yeah, well, you know,
A man can dream.
no man can dream. Supports and ADCs are pretty even, but we do see the jungles really didn't put deficit there. And here comes that massive utility from the Persephone ult there. Forcing a lot here as Catgirl Chipotle is picked up by Will Pegleg with the ult. Out comes the dash from Athena. And the chase is on for that Athena. Actually, no, that wasn't Athena. Athena died. That was Rat.
I don't see the Athena.
Yeah, she died. Loki is running the game. Persephone she is so unfun. Like, she is so boring to play now. I don't know how anyone plays her. Boring.
I was looking more at how well the Loki is doing so far. Giannis is doing, he's doing quite well. 4-1 and 5. He's low key running this lobby.
I don't know, that Persephone is level 16 at 3-0 and 4.
And Cucullin is also level 16.
And they are, the next on the docket is the Primal Fury and no wards, so guess what's not going to be known? Now it's known, but it's gone.
We figured it out, just a little bit late.
And Van Herk is the next on the menu, and Persephone kind of just going, tasty. As we see, they're now going to push up the left lane here, taking the T1 tower. And they might look to maybe take a T2 as well. They do have the tankiness from that fast one who has a Spirit Robe.
They also have Cucullin pushing up solo lane, getting quite good pressure while we have 2 people in mid lane taking that tier 1.
But if we look at Cucullin and Loki, they're looking for a little bit of snack in the form of Catgirl, Chipotle, Scylla, and it looks like they're gonna get that snack. Kush opting, no, I'm leaving. And
Very
rolling
unfortunate
himself
wall.
in.
Oh no, Kush.
A series of unfortunate events have transpired. A good freeze, but opting as Cucullin now goes to work on stealing Amish's farm.
don't think he's gonna be too happy about that one.
Well, there's nothing you can do about it. You can try and complain, but there ain't nothing you can do to stop it. And
You
as
can't-
they are going to try to stop it, but you know, it is a level 18 Kakolin.
A level 18 Kakon? I prefer the term raid boss, but maybe that's just me.
It's not quite raid boss status yet. You're not level 20, you know? And
I mean-
blinking in to try to pick up the kill on the rat here, spinning to win, as he is now opting to try to forward. Nope. Amish is looks like he's ulting in. Out comes the rat ult, but rat just getting bursted down there as on the docket is Amish. There's Satan.
Kakon just spent almost a full minute under tower and is still quarter HP. I think he qualifies under the term raid boss now.
Amish is super low. I don't know why he hasn't backed yet. He is a wonderful looking snack for anyone willing to try to not eat him up. And Dummy Slick almost getting picked up there, as we do see Lemmy Janus picking up Dummy Slick fine as a kill there. And Persephone is now pushing a mid tower in. Because
That Loki ultimate is fitting true to its name, Assassinate.
I prefer the old Loki ultimate.
Just get both the damage and the stun all in the same hit.
Yeah, that like, you know, I don't have to worry about lining anything up.
I mean, it's still got quite a wild range.
Yeah. CC's the whole enemy team, yeah.
That's all you really need, and especially with all 5 of them still having the Fire Giant buff, it's 18-4 right now. They have more than enough of a lead off of their early game pressure.
They could look to end here as the only one who really puts up much of a even level with their laner right now is Kush. You have Rat 5 levels down. Athena 3 levels down. A Scylla who is 4 levels down. Yeah, Scylla is down. Scylla can still deal damage even if she is down a level. Or 4.
Especially considering Conduit Gem and Rod of Tahuti.
A Rod of
It's
Tahuti
still-
with Scylla slap.
It's still very, very strong.
You can, what's interesting is you can actually overcap Scylla's pen. You can actually get her pen up to like 55% because of her crush and giving you percent pen as well, basically.
Similar to overcapping, reducing protections. You can just go Kern, reduce their protections with your Autumn Decay, pick up that good old-fashioned Executioner, and just watch as they have 0 protections.
As we do see the next item on the docket is the Fire Giant, and it's not EFG because it's not 30 minutes, and they're just gonna munch it up. Satan tanking it, taking negative damage. The Fire Giant's actually healing him.
Also, I'd like to point out we are now 20.5 minutes into this game. Kush, you said this would be over in 20. It's still going. You guys are doing pretty good.
We do see... And going into a game thinking you're going to lose in 20 minutes is a very negative attitude to go into the game, so you've already lost mentally. Next up on the docket is looking like a lovely right lane Phoenix, you know? Got them feathers and all. Could cook it up.
Some fried chicken. It's already on fire, so there you go.
Yeah.
Especially with all 5 of them having Fire Giant again. Pegleg at level 18 on the Hui Yi. He's already got fully stacked trans. He hits quite
Now
hard.
the Cullen's hit raid boss. There you go.
He's
Full
been raid
build.
boss for a while now.
No. Now he's raid boss at level 20 and full build. See?
He was raid boss before, now he's just super raid boss.
And
Regardless,
next up is enemy turn. Kush
One thing-
did have a ward, but you're not going to be able to step up to contest.
one thing I would like to bring note is there is this could also be an issue with the draft itself. Chosen Guans have a very strong late game draft. Their team arrives in the late game. the Lil Noms have insane pressure and damage early to mid game that it's hard for them to be able to get there where they thrive so much better.
Well, we do see Scylla hitting level 17, closing that gap between her laner. Now that her laner's hit level 20, all she has to do is get 3 levels, get a little bit of gold, so she's just gonna opt to farm there. Welcome to Farming Simulator, how may we help you? But what's on
Well-
the docket is a nice juicy Scylla. Persephone and Cucullin kind of looking for her like, you're a free kill. And she
Is it-
pops her ult to run away, you know, get that movement speed, take the Scylla. Question, but
I mean, Scylla did live, so that's
yeah,
still at least something for them. That gives them a little bit more of a chance to survive the next siege that is going to be coming out for this left Phoenix as Oni minions are pushing up.
yeah, we do see Van Herk using his leap to get away. They're hoping not to get caught out. Out comes Rat Ult, Cat Girl Chipotle. Getting a little low there. Rat Ult coming out onto Persephone, but Persephone dealing so much damage. Kush ulting there to no avail, kind of just dying. Cat Girl Chipotle getting blown up there. Athena getting deleted. for the
Giannis picking up the
quadra kill.
Quadra. Oh no.
The Penta wasn't there.
Beautiful display from Giannis though. That was insane amounts of damage that he was putting out. It was very, very rough match to go up against.
So I'm gonna give you a little insight. So my team, the Ferrymen, when we first scrimmed, our very first scrim was the Lil Noms. Game 1, they draft Persephone and Loki, and I was not allowed to play the game. So as soon as I saw the Persephone and Loki locked in, I knew exactly what was coming, and I just feel bad for this chosen Guans team because I knew what was gonna happen before the game even started.
I'd say Set coming back as an AA god, yes, he's good, but he sits in a very... I would rather ban a Persephone than a Set, let's be real here.
I think it also depends on the player because there are some jungles that can absolutely run a lobby with Set, as we saw last night. The Set was extremely oppressive and made early game practically unplayable.
But then you have those junglers where it's like you leave the Set open and you're not afraid of it. I would rather ban a Persephone in this case than a... Don't leave the Persephone open. It stopped a lot of your team's dash. Actually, I think the only one who didn't have a dash was Kush, so he kind of just walked.
It is Ymir. That's about what he does.
Yeah, he gets blinked because he can't dash at you.
He does still have the wall, though. That's all he needs.
Except for if he walls himself into a Cucullin.
Not the ideal placement, but at least we know what he was going for.
Persephone, Loki, Set ban, easy. What's interesting though, this has fallen out of... Now you don't even really see a Yanis anymore. You don't ban it, you don't pick it.
I still see plenty of Giannis around, though.
Most people aren't playing him anymore because of the nerf coming into him, so...
A lot of people
It'll-
are still playing nerfed gods, though. It's fine.
Give Hades a buff and we'll first pick him every set, come on. I want to be able to W key the entire enemy team.
Well, I mean, or just be a better player and WQ them anyway.
Or
Or at
hear
least
me out.
that's the advice I got from Subkiller, so has to be good, right?
Most times when you get that advice, they're just being a dick.
I mean, Subkiller, I think he's more than proven he's capable of following that advice.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Subkiller is mechanically gifted. We cannot do what Subkiller can do on a King Arthur.
We can't do what he does on any god.
See, that's the thing. It is someone like him telling you just get better. That takes years and
I mean, that's just generally his advice. That's.
just get good.
I mean, it's
yeah.
good advice. It's good advice.
Just get good, yeah. Can I get some advice that isn't just get good?
But I gotta ask. Actually, ask both of you really. Going into this next game, if you guys are the chosen Guans, what are you looking for? What do you want to change? Give you a better chance?
How about not letting Persephone through the bands?
Well, yeah, Persephone is kind of a given. But besides that,
I think their team comp was solid. I think they just need to work on maybe a little communication there. A lot of like surprise rotations from Kush there. Could have been a little more kills Satan. So yeah, maybe just communication going into the next game.
I can see that.
Yep.
Yep. Go ahead. Oh, I thought they could. Okay. Well, Raptor is just caster diffiness for a moment. We are going to be going to a brief intermission while we just take a little breather and reset our systems here. So we will be right back.
Come to the conclusion, just a rotten piece of fruit. So I'll end up dying slowly, rotting away. See, I just want to be able to climb without a fall, to get out of this maze and run. Please strike me thunder. Let me get closer to the light. Please strike me thunder. So I can be great. So I've come to the conclusion, I'm just one man amongst thousands. In this world I'll load them, sure they'll do fine without me. The chemicals in my head don't work as yours. 'Cause every piece of road is a little bit of happiness. Every kind of love causes a little bit less regret.
Hello, everybody, Quack and Smite League friends and family, and welcome back to the Quack and Smite League Season 3. We will be coming right back to the Lil Noms versus the Chosen Guans, as we are now going into the final game of this set, and we will be starting it off with Chosen Guans banning the Tiamat. Phenom or Lil Noms will be responding with a set ban. Chosen Guans will respond with the Cucullin. Lil Noms will actually be banning their own Persephone. Not a pick I was expecting to see, as Chosen Guans will finalize with a Gilgamesh.
Interesting that the Noms are the ones banning the Persephone. I do not know if Kakarot can play Persephone, but it's an interesting ban nonetheless. It's a good ban.
It's regardless a good ban. Absolutely, yeah, I agree, 100%. It's just odd that the Lil Noms would actually be the one banning it, since they were the ones that played it. But they will actually ban the Karin as well, with the Chosen Guans picking up the Loki here. As actually, now that I'm looking, I
For
also
Camelot!
see
For
Athena still open.
Avalon!
But Lil Noms will opt for the King Arthur lock-in. Another very, very
Another
strong solo
performance
laner.
already. I guess they
And we
can't
see
get
an
enough of
Apollo
me.
coming out. Very interesting, because I see both Sol and Athena are open.
Did Neptune leave us again?
No, I'm still here.
Oh, he's probably eating another wiener.
No, I am not.
I don't know about that.
We do see
Wisdom
the
shall
Soul
be my
being covered
shield.
here, and the Athena going to be locked in again by the Chosen Guans. So we have a
Like,
Loki, a Soul, and an Athena. I kind of
I
like this
was,
draft.
I was just thinking, Sol and Athena are still open,
Yeah.
and
Though we
there goes
do
both
see
of them.
the King Arthur and Apollo. Now we already knew where King Arthur is going.
Support, easy.
It is viable to play King Arthur support. I'm not
It
saying I've
is.
theory
It is.
crafted this in hours of casuals, but I may or may not have theory crafted it casual.
I mean, it is viable. Just ask Subkiller.
It is viable. The only problem with King Arthur's support is you need a ADC that equally matches how heavy you have to go. Because you're going to go Bluestone. You're not going an actual support item. We do see the Raijin locked in.
I think Raijin is a fair and interesting pick here. He's
He's
certainly
a-
not bad at all.
Definitely not.
As we will see, the Sun Wukong will be the first bans coming up from the Lil Noms in this one. Once
don't-
again, banning the Sun Wukong.
Wukong can, stop a lot of that King Arthur damage with his stun. So,
He can. This is very safe. As well as we see the Tsukiyomi ban trying to limit the power that the Lil Noms could pick up in their jungle pick.
Stopping a lot of that dive potential on that backline there, or accidentally clipping Loki's invis with an ult there.
Yes, absolutely. Especially with a King Arthur Apollo Raijin, they have a lot of heavy poke and dive potential here. So banning out somebody like Tsukiyomi is, I think, a fantastic pick. Not only is Tsukiyomi just strong in his own right, his dive potential and ability to shred through the backline can be incredibly powerful, especially with somebody like King Arthur.
I think you're forgetting this is the Phenoms organization. Who's to say this is not Apollo Jungle?
I wouldn't put it past for an Apollo jungle, but
Then
currently
again, in
as it
this,
sits right now, it's an Apollo carry.
we do see Chernobog and Fafnir banned as well.
Come, we shall fly together!
And Horus will actually
Horus.
be the first pickup here. So we have a Horus, what appears to be a Horus support.
Ardio there, we did discuss this in lengths about can Ardio counter a King Arthur.
This is true. We have talked
Winning
about
or
that in chats
losing
before.
doesn't matter. We all shall
And Ardio
return
does
to
get locked
nature
in.
in the end.
Ardio
Yeah.
can be a very interesting utility pickup as well. We see Scylla being hovered once again.
I'm a monster!
And so it does get locked in. That is a lot of magical power. Loki's actually the only physical on that team as well.
Go,
Loki
Suku!
is, so they're gonna be building. Ooh, the Awilix locked in there.
It is still the Phenoms organization. We could still see something like a Wheelix solo and King Arthur carry. It's not out
Like,
there.
Solo we have seen played before, but we know Horus is gonna go in that support role because, you know, if you play Horus anywhere else, you kind of lose half the benefit of your 3.
And you can still heal minions.
You can still heal minions, but, you know, it's so much funner to heal people when you're halfway up a lane where you shouldn't be, and then you fly back to your team.
Regardless, I still think it's a very, very strong draft. Loki is going to find a little bit of trouble in this one, though. The Raiden 2 is going to be able to clip him out of that invisibility if he's near his teammates.
What's
And it's 4 magicals is going to be very rough because they can build a lot of magical defense and really survive a lot harder.
But what's interesting is both teams only have 1 magic deal. Or, well, Phenoms has 1 magic attack, and the Guans have 1 physical.
It is kind of interesting, not something you see too often.
Yeah. And if we can, oh, Raptor. I don't know.
Why do you keep closing it?
Whatever it is. If we can take a look at these items. Alright. These are muy gusta.
We'll actually see Raijin opting for the Vampiric Shroud.
He does
That's
get a
very
little bit of
interesting.
benefit off of it.
He does, but personally, I just don't think Vampiric Shroud is good at all early game. It's only once per ability, so the main gods who would benefit from its other stats, such as Anubis, hardly get anything out of it.
Yeah, for example, actually it's funny because I think the only reason why this is being done is because it was played in the SPL today.
This is true.
Because, you know, if it's played in the SPL, it must mean you gotta play it.
You're not wrong. Though I do like that our RTO on the Chosen Bonds went for Warding Sigil.
Can't remember the passive of Warding Sigil.
As you take damage, you gain stacks of percent mitigation. And then late game, you can actually pick up one that, as you take a couple stacks of damage, it will then explode, dealing magical damage.
That is very muy gusta. And we do see a little bit of early game pressure here because of the Horus picking up or dual peg leg picking up the first kill there, as it is a warrior support, so you do get a little bit more pressure out of it than your traditional supports.
And especially with it being an Apollo, that's a lot of early game strength.
And we do see Ardio actually outboxing the King Arthur here. But she is out of mana.
They struggle for Ardio solo.
A struggle for Ardios everywhere. Usually why you build Vamp Shroud on Ardio solo, just because you need that mana
sustain.
Yep. King Arthur did hit level 3 before her, so she is going to lose a little bit of HP there. As Amish getting trickly low there, but using that dash to get away. Ooh, a beautiful taunt into all that damage.
Beautiful setup from that Athena. Unfortunately, Athena does not have a whole lot of HP and is going to have to be very careful with those taunts now.
Yep, but we do see
the blink. Oh no. That Horus blink was beautiful. Especially with Pegleg being able to dash in and get the stun off of the Apollo 2. Gave perfect setup to just burn through that Athena's health bar.
And this Ardio is actually forcing this King Arthur. He's actually forcing Satan to play a little bit back and respect the Ardio. With that heal and that little bit of, you know, cripple.
To be fair, half of what makes Ardio good solo against King Arthur is that she can sustain so much. That's 90% of the time the big problem
Out
for
comes the beads. Onto that Apollo, which
unfortunately RDO having to back is going to lead to a blue invade, which means Satan, unlike King Arthur, is now stealing that blue buff, which can be very detrimental to this RDO. But with Loki there, that's going to be a lot of damage on the Arthur. He's not going to be able to take all that damage as it's just too much being output on him. That cripple coming out from the RDO 2 and the Bear Stance was just enough to hold him down.
what's interesting is we do see this again. Soul ADC does output a lot of pressure when she's allowed to do her own thing, and we do see the Scylla starting to actually start dealing damage here. And she opted for Sands of Time instead of Conduit Gem this time.
Personally, I love that. Personally, that is what I do on Scylla.
Personally, I think Sands of Time is a little bit better early
Yeah.
game just because you get that mana sustain, especially on somebody like Scylla who burns through mana so quickly. It gives a lot more sustain, and since you just 2 and 1 so frequently, you put out abilities that quickly, Conduit Gem loses some of its value.
Not to mention that the 10% cooldown is really nice, and then the upgrade to Pendulum Aegis. I think that's what it's called.
Board's being picked up by the Willix there.
Another great rotation on part of the Little Noms.
But Loki is in the zone here, and kind of looking at Peg, like out comes Scylla Crush, dealing a lot of damage there.
Scylla, I'm a monster, is actually going to pick off Pegleg, doing massive amounts of damage.
Ooh, Scylla shouldn't have dashed there, or should have beads. She had beads up, she could have beads.
You can't beads when you're underground, I don't believe. I think you have to pre-beads and then dash.
Well, you know, you're playing against an Willix pre-beads before you decide to dash. There's a series of choices here. And we see a little bit of aggression. Out comes Tycho Drums, trying to pick up that soul, but not going to be enough damage. As next on the docket for the Little Noms is going to be a Greater Scorpion. Oh, are they just going to not take it? Nope, they're leaving. Satan
Just up
taking...
for Oracles instead.
Yeah, they three-way split Oracles.
Although we do see that Transcendence being online for Apollo now.
He did rush Trance, and you know, Soul can't build Trance, so.
This is true.
So she's just gonna opt to get her boots online, and you know, Kush now has an ult, which does give his team a little bit of help there, as you know, Apollo can ult in, and so could Horus, but Athena can also just ult over to her team, kind of giving it.
That's 30% damage mitigation, especially with the RDO and King Arthur over in Soul Lane. We're seeing right now, actually, it can be a lot of damage and damage mitigation coming out. And RDO is actually going to be putting out a lot of damage with the help of Athena, and the taunt is actually going to bring him right back in. That's a lot of damage, and the dash is going to come out. Arthur is already super low HP. He can't stay to fight this any longer.
Out comes the Scylla Burrow. So we're not going to call it a leap, because, you know.
Low risk is actually a leap.
It technically is a leap, but you know, you burrow under the ground is the description. And we do see Kush getting dangerously low there as a Willix picks up the kill there.
Amish is also going to be taking a lot of damage, especially now being out of mana as a Horizontal comes in to knock him up into the Willix will pull him right back in. Scylla is going to try and come out to try and get some of the damage out as Keko Chipotle will end up picking off the Arthur with the help of the Loki ult, but Keko Chipotle will end up falling to the Willix in the end as Loki is not very low under the T1 tower against 3 opponents. He's going to have to be very careful, but it won't matter. Raijin will be diving under the tower to secure that kill.
Do see, and it looks like this Apollo has this purple buff timer and ready to rob it on any moment's notice. But Ban Herc kind of sniffs a little bit of something in the air.
Ban Herc is aware that that's happening. Unfortunately, just got caught clearing wave and couldn't quite go back to contest it. That's a little bit of XP being stolen.
Those XP you don't want stolen, but out comes that soul damage. And
The
it's
early game damage is
interest-
huge.
It is massive. And all she has is boots. And the T1 of what could end up being a rod of thy booty.
I mean, once Soul gets out online, that early game Stellar Burst can hit really hard, and it does become her booty. It's gone.
It will delete someone. But out comes a rotation by Pabs there. But what's the Saporate just being utilized there to kind of get out and put some space between. But Loki's in the zone. Loki maybe looking to smell a kill here. Ping's coming out. On to Kush.
Kush isn't far at all from this fight in the mid lane, as Loki's also there on Oracles, but so is the Horus chasing him down, and now he's got 3 people on his scent, and he's gonna have to be getting right out of that one.
The Scylla there. Apollo ulting in. Using
You see
that.
Taiko drums coming out as well.
But Taiko drums are far off the mark as Kush is the one picked off there by the Will Exalt. But Soul's in the area. And Scylla, I'm a monster, a little bit off the mark there. But Soul able to kind of output that damage, and a Willix is looking for a kill here. But she has no ult. A beautiful Loki.
4-man stun on that, assassinate as well. Huge play. That was insane
keeping a lot
value.
of people alive, and Van Herk using his ult to knock them up after that stun as well. Kinda. But no kills were picked up here as Willix is gonna tank the Scorpion. Habs is kinda zoning there. And Apollo's in the area.
Amish taking a lot of damage from that Arthur, but still
But
is here to try and help with the rotation.
Van Herk getting killed once again by dual peg leg and... Oh, Dummy Slick died to Elder Centaur.
Elder Satyr, not Centaur.
Yeah. That is the blue buff. You know what? He
That
died.
is the blue
Wait,
buff.
he died to blue buff?
He died.
Run it back. Run it back.
Wait, can we get the clip? Wait, where's the clip?
Flip it.
You
You
know something?
did
Yes.
just see a 4-man Loki ult. It was a beautiful Loki ult. And now, Little Noms is choosing to steal every bit of jungle that they can.
That when he died to blue buff, that immediately made me think of the Benji and adapting play, where adapting saves Benji, and then Benji goes off and dies to harpies.
That kind of reminds me at the tail end of season 2 when we actually saw the Primal Fury pick up 2 kills in the same set.
To be
I was casting that set. Neptune right here. Our buddy Neptune was one of the deaths.
no, I wasn't. I don't think I'm dying to.
Yeah,
Gold
weren't you on the
Fury
soul
at
with some weird build with 0 lifesteal and you tried to solo Gold Fury?
No, I had a Death's Toll, and I thought that was gonna be. I think it was actually upgraded, so I thought, okay, I can solo this.
It definitely was an upgrade, because if it was upgrade, you'd be able to solo it.
I don't even think with upgraded you can solo it that efficiently. You still
Well,
lose too much
if it's
HP.
upgraded, when you get that late game on that guy, you can soul anything.
You cannot solo Gold Fury. I've tried. I mean, no, I haven't. And out comes the ult, and look at this, a 4-man rotation for a little bear. Put that bear on a platter.
The sheer damage output, it was just unbearable.
Dummy Slick being killed there as they're just 3-man rotating on.
Okay, look, Shearing. Neptune might be ignoring you, but I'm not.
I am not ignoring anyway. What do you mean?
Did you not hear the 2 terrible puns that he made?
Terrible.
Oh, I choose to
Terrible.
agree with
Whoa,
the terrible
whoa,
puns.
whoa. Terrible. Those are fantastic puns. Screw you.
Let me see that crispy damage. You heard it here first. Look at that damage. And, you know, let's 3-man rotate on a Scylla. And, you know, we weren't done 3-man rotating on people, so let's just do it to a Scylla. And
We're now gonna see
that's
Bristol coming out for this poor Van Herk. That's just rude. Oh. No.
Out comes that. But guess what? Someone's in the area code, and Abs is going to be picked off there as a Willix is looking for a kill. Actually, more
Ghost
than
Landlord
Elixir.
is also here, as we see Taiko drums coming out.
Wow. Yeah, but Loki is going to steal the speed buff. We get
Satan-
consolation prize.
Satan was gonna stop it, but he decided it's not worth it.
Ping's coming out from Yanis as the speed buff is taken. And Dummy Slick is now in the jungle looking to rob some buffs.
He's looking to rob Satan blind and take his wallet. He's just
It is
hiding.
Loki, I wouldn't put it past him.
He's just hiding, waiting for him to turn around that corner. This is in the Arctica though. It's gonna force these Asni to come out just to get away. Giannis and Satan together is a very vicious combo to be going up against us. It does a lot of damage output, especially only being one person fighting against it. But Amish is certainly up to the challenge though, with Arthur already being low and low mana. Amish is gonna be taking this fight with the Athena coming out for the huge damage mitigation. And a lot of damage on Giannis. It's gonna force the beats as the Wix is forced to jump out. Pabs is actually gonna blink in with the horse, gonna catch that stun and force them to take a breather. As we see Raijin coming in from the jungle, this is going to now turn into an even bigger fight, but it looks like everybody's just going to opt to play a little bit safer, as Amish is going to be backing.
And Soul's playing Farming Simulator, as you do in the ADC lane, because, you know, we don't like to have fun over here. We just like to put music on and farm for 20 minutes.
Well, I mean, you can ask boys on Olive Garden. That's about what I did for finals.
Farming Simulator, you can't change my mind.
It really is. That and solo
It's
lane.
coming out as Loki. And guess what? It's another gank onto this Soul. It's free real estate.
It's very free real estate. They're just 3v1ing everybody.
They don't want to take one straight fight, you know? Gotta 3v1 everyone.
Speaking of ganks, we actually have Apollo coming out onto Amish in the solo lane.
Oh, no, hang on, we got a Nowillix too.
It's once again that's the 3v1 I was talking about. Huge stun from Amish, but it's not gonna be enough. Oh, here's Demi Slick looking for the kill on the Arthur. He's gonna ult for it.
He is gonna pick up the kill though.
He
Worth.
secures it. That Arthur is +2 levels on him though. Actually gonna be looking at the Pyromancer with both Pigleg and Pabs here.
Josh the Landlord picking up the kill onto Catgirl Chipotle. He just wanted some Chipotle on his land.
Got that Chipotle Ranch?
No, I don't have Chipotle Ranch.
What about Szechuan sauce?
I think didn't they discontinue that?
In the 80s.
No, I thought they brought it back for some time and then took it away again.
Brought it back for less than a month, dude. Where have you been?
It's called Canada, bro.
You mean it's called Despair?
No, it's called Canada.
It's called Despair.
Have you never wondered why Neptune is weird? It's because he's not a red-blood American like us.
You see, good sir, I am a red, white Canadian. I didn't say
Canada,
red,
you're
white, wait a minute, did I? I said red and white because that's our feeling. Oh,
You're just
and
white with all the
Banhart,
snow.
you know, gotta blend in. And Banhart being ticked off there is they literally just turned to look at him. Little Noms, Kush tried to steal it but couldn't. Dummy Slick looking
Respect the
at
effort from Kush to try and
smack.
steal it.
And Catgirl Chipotle picking up the kill but dying for it. Taiko drums kind of just be thrown everywhere. Lemichian is picking up the kill onto Dummy Slick and Kush getting out with his life as we do see Amish facing against Satan and kind of juking it out with each other.
We've got a hefty gold and XP difference. 9,000 gold and 12,000 XP difference. This is a little bit of a challenging climb for the Chosen Guans. They're gonna have to mount quite a comeback in order to get back into this game.
As we see Satan is
Amish is
doing the boogie woogie away from Amish.
Amish isn't willing to let it go though. Despite being 2 levels down on that, Arthur is still doing quite well in the matchup.
Well, yeah, you know, you're an RDO. It doesn't matter what level you are, you still have a cripple.
True, but being 2 levels down on Arthur hurts quite bad.
There's worse things to be 2 levels down on.
I still think Arthur's pretty high up on that list.
And Pegleg is upping just to take that tower. Out comes the Aegis in time to basically give her time to go into her disapparate. But Pegleg is kind of just going, I want to keep farming, you know? I prefer Farming Simulator over kills.
He is level 18 to that level 14 soul.
Mm-hmm. Farming. And we do see Kush 0-0-5 and 1. 0-5 and 1. I read
0, 5, and 1.
oh yeah, you know. Gotta make it sound worse than it actually is. And comparatively to this Horus who is 0-2 and 15.
As you see
Do
the
a Peg.
Apollo just hanging out in his ult, just trying to look for a kill to catch out. Kush Sports happens to be the one, but will end up diving onto Dummy Slick, who's just gonna have to ult out.
You
They've got all the people here for this Fire Giant.
Satan looking to zone here.
Unfortunately for Satan, there's nobody to zone right now. That Fire Giant is getting
They're not
pretty
even
much
in the
infested.
same area code.
Might have Amish and Slick being picked up here. They're gonna be a little bit pushed up in what used to be their territory, but isn't anymore. It's a Horse is actually back up.
Is gonna get killed once again by Yanis as he's looking for that god.
And he finds it.
He's looking for that redemption penta. You know
He
is.
wants it. I know he wants it. He
Problem
managed to
with-
get the quad.
He did get the quad, but it was on a Loki.
True, but now he has a Wheelix. Maybe things will change.
Yeah. The quadra doesn't count. No, you know how that works. If you are willing to, and out comes the. Okay. We're gonna pretend that didn't happen. Okay. And Satan,
Gotta update our visuals here on the screen. Kushpart still has his ult. It didn't actually get used there. Actually, speaking of Kushparts, he's just got blown up by all of them jumping on him.
What happened to you? All of them.
He was trying to get out of that.
There in that fight, as you see, dual Pegleg looking for a kill here.
Tried to ult the Loki before he could get to base, but it wasn't in time.
It wasn't. And the egg is coming out, but Amish in the back, they're trying to hard to get the kill there. Dummy Slick also looking for the kill. Will he find it? And
He was so close to getting it.
a Willix is shut down.
Van
There's
Herc now in a
4v.
very, very bad spot. Just him and Herc. Just him and Kush against 4 members who still have Fire Giant buff active.
He's gonna be stunned.
He can't even walk back into Fountain.
Nope. Not allowed to.
There's far too much CC coming out of that team. But it did respawn, but not with enough time to try and help.
Nope.
That will actually end up being the finale of the set, as we have a 2-1 victory for the Lil Noms. Well played by both teams, but the Lil Noms just showing that they had more than enough power at pretty much all points in the game to press the advantages that they were able to pick up at any point in the game. And they just kept pushing and pushing until they just took it straight to the top. A lot of phenomenal plays coming out from them. Justin Landlord being 5-0 and 12 on the Raijin. Satan being 2-3 and 11 on the Arthur. A 14 and 1 Lemmy Janus. Very, very powerful display on the Whalix. Dual Pegleg going 7-1 and 11 on Apollo. And a 0-2 and 21 Pabs on the Horus. beautiful display from them. Absolutely amazing teamwork that they showed, especially with those 3-man ganks on every single lane. It was oppressive to be facing against.
Yeah, it really was. There was just nothing really the Chosen Guans could do. They the early game actually went a little bit better in my opinion. It was looking a little more hopeful, and then Janice just ate. He didn't eat Janice. He ate Catgirl Chipotle. He ate Dummy Slick. He ate Amish. He ate everything but Janice. He ate the whole Conquest map.
He was looking for that Chipotle's restaurant, and he didn't find it, so he ate everything else instead.
But yeah, I mean, look, I think that everyone on this Lil Noms roster played really, really well. But if you give the MVP award to anyone but Let Me Eat Janice, then you're trolling.
No. We gotta give it to the beautiful man, Amish. He put his damnedest into that.
Okay, to be fair, Amish did perform well on this RDO. I did not hate the RDO. I think the RDO performed really well, especially during the laning phase. The problem was they couldn't get pressure anywhere else, and so Lemmy Janice could just camp that lane whenever Amish got pressure and put the favor back in Satan OMFG. I mean, you saw even when Satan was 2 levels up, Amish was still chasing him down. That RDO pick was not the problem. If anything, that RDO pick was just delaying the inevitable, in a good way.
Hence why we're saying Amish was the MVP. Amish was played beautiful, even 2 levels down and getting 1v2 ganked frequently. Amish is running down at this Arthur, no fear in his heart. He absolutely chased him to the ends of the earth.
You mean 1v4'd?
Both actually, but
now look, the difference is he died when he got 1v4 when he was facing 1v4. He was bullying when he was 1v2ing.
The problem is when you go from 2 people to 2 extra people, and one of them is the mid laner who actually deals damage, there's the bigger problem.
Yeah, essentially. But no, I think that the Chosen Guans had bright spots. You cannot deny that they had moments where they were looking up, but as soon as Janice started snowballing, it basically turned back into game 1 where they could not stop him. Dummy Slick did shut him down in that last fight, but unfortunately he threw his life away when it was a 5v3, when it was already a 5v3 and they were going into the Titan room. I think that I think that I don't know what else he's supposed to do. I don't play Loki. I don't play jungle. So I don't know exactly what else he's supposed to do there. But in my opinion, I don't think that throwing your life away just to shut down Janice. He was already TKO'd. He already had very little health. He was already being forced to back up. I don't think that Dummy Slick had to throw his life away to confirm the kill there. I think he should have backed up and tried to help Kush and Herc defend the Titan against the other 4. But that's just my opinion.
it was a very big shutdown. Unfortunately, it was just a little bit too late in the game for them to try and get back into it. They did play beautifully, and they did have a lot of team synergy. They just couldn't quite get the follow-up and mesh it together in time. They did find a little bit of it here and there, and they had beautiful spots where they were shining through. Unfortunately, these diamonds are just still stuck in a little bit more layers of dirt. They had beautiful setup and beautiful team to work with it.
For
they
real,
just have to find that vibe. They just couldn't quite make it mesh together quite well enough.
Yeah, Catgirl Chipotle, I think, looked a lot better on this Scylla in Game 2 than she did in Game 1. Um, it was unfortunate that the Wheelish was picked up, because everyone knows a Wheelish, the classic counter to Scylla. But because for some reason, Hades and Scylla Dash is considered a leap. No one knows why, but it is. So it's just kind of unfortunate that Janice, the kind of the hard carry of this team, which is hard to say because Pegleg and Landlord played really well too. But it's just unfortunate that Janice picked up the Wheelish, which hard counters Catgirl, and then he just snowballed on it, which didn't help at all either.
There is also to take into consideration Satan with the King Arthur also has a knockup, as well as Pabs with the horse support has a very easy knockup setup, especially with the ult to combine it too, not just as one, but the ult as well to just jump crashing in over multiple walls across almost the entire map and just come crashing in and just perfectly set up, as we actually saw in that solo lane. Amish got picked off because of that. It was beautiful teamwork and really, really good setup coming from all of the players.
Yeah, at the end of the day, what it comes down to is everything that we were complimenting the Chosen Guans on, the great synergy, the great setup, the great individual plays. Unfortunately for them, the Little Noms did that more frequently and, dare I say it, just better. And at the end of the day, that is what ended up winning them the set. But that is gonna be it, guys. It goes down as a 2-1 because of the forfeited game 1. Even though we did only play 2 games, which is unfortunate, but hey, that's just how it works sometimes. How it works out sometimes. But it is 2-1 in favor of the Lil Noms over the Chosen Ones in week 1 of the Quack and Smite League. Still plenty more games to go for week 1, and we've got a weekend slated up with some really good ones. Any final thoughts for you two before we head out?
Yeah, watch the game this Saturday.
I would like to note this has been the 3rd game of week 1 of Quack and Smite League Season 3. We're not even halfway done, and we have had 3 insanely exciting sets to be watching. So if you guys have been around for any of these sets so far, I implore you, please stick around for more. All of these have been absolutely phenomenal to watch. They have been incredible amounts of fun to be casting. It's been a ton of fun, both here tonight and last night. All of these have been phenomenal plays, great casts, incredible people playing. I'm really glad that I could be here, and I'm so glad that you all could join us for this amazing event as well. And I hope you come back for more.
For sure. I mean, at the end of the day, this league is here for 3 reasons. 1, because we love Smite. 2, because we want to be competitive. And 3, just to have fun. But of course, all of these teams are wanting to win. And us casters just get to sit up here, have a few chuckles with each other, and enjoy some really good Smite. But as for right now, as for this set, that is going to be it. 2-1 in favor of the Lil Noms. I want to thank every single one of you for joining us tonight. I want to thank Neptune and Jeering for joining me and casting while I was on camera. And that's going to be it. We do have a match tomorrow. And I'm assuming a few more are going to be set up for this weekend, as we don't have every single match scheduled yet. But I do know we have some really good matches already set up for tomorrow and Sunday. So be sure to tune in for those, and we will catch you all next time.
Thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful night.